Hello my friends, it's your Uncle Mike here. Wanted to give you my rating on the new movie that just came out this last weekend, Star Trek Beyond. I went and saw it, and I'll tell you right now, I enjoyed it. If you haven't seen my video on my rating system that I'm going to use, I recommend going there first to give you a general idea of how I'm going to be covering this rating and what each category means. That said, let's jump into it. First category is, of course, the storyline. I'm going to give that a solid 7. It's not a new storyline, and it doesn't really take it in any new and different directions, but it's well done and it makes sense. Too often in movies these days they use old storylines because, as it's been said, everything's been done already, but they don't try to add anything to it or do something new. It's just tired old trope, retread, and run over again. This, they do it right. It's enjoyable as a storyline. Not something I would read in a book, but... Next is technical. I give it a solid 8. There weren't any major issues with their use of the technology that should be available in Star Trek. They didn't make any jumps or any screw-ups like they did in the first two movies. Transporters, anyone? There are only some slight issues with the physics of reality. Star Trek does try to stay reality-bound as far as physics. And there were some minor, that probably wouldn't happen that way, but for films, they're given a little bit more latitude, so I stick with my solid 8. Next are the visual effects. I'm actually going to give that a 10. I don't see where they could have improved anything, and they didn't do anything stupid like shaky cam or anything else. They had a little bit, they had too many cuts in some of the scenes, especially the combat scenes. But that's typical, so I'm not going to ding them for that. It wasn't overdone. It was easy to follow the action. The views of the planet and views of space were well done. They didn't make you feel like you were trying to scramble to keep up. It was enjoyable, and it all in all led to the full enjoyment of the film. Next was audio. That I'll give an 8. There were some choices that I didn't fully agree with, but other than that, it was well done. Nothing actually took me out of the narrative, at least not too badly. There was one musical choice that was iffy, but I took it in good humor, as you should. So a good solid 8 on that. Next was my enjoyment character. Even though I only gave a 7 and some 8s in the previous categories, this category deserves a full 10. If you go into it expecting to have a good time and not worried about picking it apart and just enjoying it, you're going to have a blast. Just go in there with the mindset that you're just going to enjoy a movie and be entertained, and you will be. Like I said, a solid 10. There were times when I was almost cheering because it was so well put together, even with the not getting full stars on other categories. Next is where to watch it. I fully recommend in the theater, and I would even recommend going full price for evening shows. It's a movie that definitely makes use of the screen space and the sound system that is available inside a theater. It's, in my mind, well worth it, especially the 3D. The 3D was very well done. There were only a couple scenes that I recall that were just gratuitous 3D. The rest of it really helped and enhanced the movie. So overall, I would recommend going to see it in a theater, going to see it even in 3D. Next is my bonus category. Would I watch it again in the theater? Definitely. I'm already planning on taking some friends to it here this coming weekend, if they get into town in time. But I would definitely go see it again if I give them the chance, and pay full price again. It was that enjoyable. Next is the would I buy it? I definitely will buy this when it comes out. I find myself now wanting to go to my TV and throw it in so I can go back to certain scenes and refresh my memory on how they went and re-see them again. Even this goes back to the story of only a 7. You know the story. Once you watch it, you're going to be able to follow through no matter where you pick it up or drop it off. It isn't a story where it isn't movie where you need to watch it from start to finish to get the full impact of any particular scene. This is going to be something that's going to be enjoyable to watch anytime, any part of, and just enjoy. Now for the things I'd like to impart upon you before you go see it, to help you hopefully enjoy it a little bit better. I've seen a lot of the reviews, and a lot of the reviews had some negative comments that I didn't understand until I realized they weren't fully understanding what this movie is supposed to be. Simon Pegg is a much deeper writer than 99% of the writers and directors out there now. The rest of them are basically hacks. He's actually putting together an event for you to watch and listen to. It's fairly clear that he is an aficionado of the original Star Trek. You can see that coming through in multiple places all throughout the movie. And one of the biggest things is the original Star Trek never took itself too seriously. That may be why the original pilot didn't work too well, because it took itself way too seriously. But in all the rest, it was understood that humor was necessary, and humor at its own expense only made it better. Take for the example where they go to a planet that has adapted all the 1920s gangster personas and how that was handled. Very tongue-in-cheek quite a bit, but still had a lesson to be passed on through it. And that's what this movie also has. It has an overriding lesson, life lesson to be taught. And if you go in with that mindset, that don't take it too seriously, don't take its choices too seriously, whether with the music or with what it's doing as far as action, just go in to enjoy it, you will. Next thing I like to bring up is the character development that goes on. Almost all the characters, at least on the bridge crew, get some character development, as well as some other characters that are introduced. Or as much as can be done in a short movie. 2 hours, you can't have much development for that many characters, but there is some development altogether. The big thing though is to go into this expecting character growth from a single character. As I said, there's not much time in a 2-hour movie to do a lot of character development, much less character growth. So this movie really focuses on Kirk and his character arc, his development from being a young, rash captain who got lucky and thrown into a captaincy to a captain that has been out on the hairy edge for 3 years and found things aren't quite as exciting, as fun, or as readily satisfaction filling as he thought they would be. It's about his starting to grow up. So if you go in with it with that mindset and watch for the character development, even during action scenes, you'll see quite a bit, and I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit more. So that's my review for this movie. I definitely recommend you go to see it. It'll be well worth your time and your money. It'll give you a break from today's hectic world, and you'll enjoy yourself. So this is your Uncle Mike signing off, reminding you to maintain your honor, be ever vigilant, and always stand tall.